everybody, and welcome back to the...
Sorry, I sniffed directly into the microphone as you started.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the TripleJump podcast. It's a video game podcast. My name is Ben.
My name is Peter.
And my name is Ashton.
We are all feeling a little down in the dumpums today, not as in emotionally, but sort of physically fatigued.
Yeah.
The only common trend between all of us is that we shot 2 episodes of Main Menu yesterday, and we had to sample the food afterwards.
Yeah.
Is there a correlation?
Yes.
The science doesn't
so.
lie.
No.
Statistically.
I swallowed the food, so I think I'm... Did you swallow it?
Well, let's not even go. Let's
yeah,
not
we don't
spoil
want to talk about what we made, but I spat out one.
Yeah, I spat out one.
And I consumed some of the other.
Yeah. But you spat it out, so I guess maybe you're...
Yeah, what's going on with you,
you're
Austin?
like, oh yeah, you're fine.
Well,
We've
the weird
clearly
thing
poisoned
is,
ourselves.
I spat out one, and then the other one I took a real serious mouthful of, and I then therefore had to spit that one out as well. But I don't want people thinking that there's an episode coming up where I just like chicken out and spit both of them out. The reason I spat it is because
maintained your
went
pride.
ham, as it were. No pork products included.
No.
But yeah.
Wow. Well, there we are. That's a little
There's a
hint
little
of
sneak
things
preview.
to come. Main Menu is in the bag. We have 2 episodes. One hopefully going out at the end of this month. One hopefully going out on Halloween as well. A return to the kitchen. Very, very exciting. But this is our video game podcast. Oh, by the way, if you're not familiar with what Main Menu is, because we haven't actually done it for a while.
2 years.
It's a video game cooking show. We did it pre-pandemic. We did it pre-Ashton. And this was Ashton's first exposure to it. It's where we recreate video game foodstuffs that feature in video games. And we always do it
well.
really, really well.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
Absolutely to the letter. Follow all the ingredients and instructions and it goes great.
It comes together beautifully.
Yes. Anyway, back to the video game podcast. We are sponsored each and every episode by a very real video game adjacent sponsor. I believe Peter Austin has the ad read for this week.
Yeah, I'll just pick up my ad read here off the table.
Yeah. Well, it looks a lot like your running order.
It does, yeah.
It's like mine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Picture it. You're in a park in the northeast. It's dark. It's the witching hour.
Oh. I was enjoying the park
I feel
for a
I might be
minute
in
then.
danger.
You smell the faint aroma of, what is that? Garlic?
Oh, no. Jugson?
You hear the sounds of mad stunts.
No.
On a pedal bike.
You look at your watch. 12 o'clock.
In the distance
I'm
you
in
hear.
danger.
Extra 50. That'll be 50p.
Then you realise there's more than one of them. There are many.
Oh no.
They're all coming at you on their mad pedal bikes.
Jug's sons.
Jug Sons. Coming soon from Marvel. Midnight Suns.
Oh, shut up.
No.
New survival horror game from
From
Marvel.
Marvel.
Yeah.
The development studio Marvel.
And
Midnight Suns.
brand new Marvel villain, the Jugsons.
The
The
Jugsons.
Jugsons.
Keeping up with the Jugsons.
God.
With the Jugsons.
When's it out?
Already.
It's out now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it actually secretly a card game?
No, it's not. Because otherwise we wouldn't allow it to sponsor our podcast.
Very, very a little bit devastated that Midnight Suns has actually got card game elements in it. And that's
Not
might just be
midnight.
me.
Not Midnight Suns. Though.
Suns, okay.
No. There you go. It's not real, by the way.
Thank goodness for
Sounds
that.
more interesting than actual Midnight Suns.
Whoa!
Oh, steady on.
Whoa.
There's a hot take for you. Have that.
That is a hot take. I hope it's good though. Midnight Suns.
Yeah.
Not your one though, because that's not real.
Suns.
No, of course we are sponsored by our very real patron. Sorry, I just had a fudge. Not used to having a fudge this early in the morning.
I didn't want everyone to have rumbly tummies, so I had a chocolate bar, and so did Ben.
Ashton brought me a fudge. Thank
I
you,
said,
Ashton.
have a chocolate bar, you're going to have a rumbly
I had
tummy.
a Belvita breakfast biscuit this morning.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's good.
When I say A, I mean there's 4 little ones in a pack, so I had 4.
You greedy gremlin.
At which point, are they little biscuits or do they combine to
two
become
big
a
big
big
biscuits.
biscuit?
Don't know. I mean, it's all one serving. They're in a little plastic wrapper. I don't mean I had 4 times 4 because that would be 16 Belvita breakfast biscuits.
I don't know. Maybe you had a hunger on this one.
Maybe.
I have no idea. No, we're sponsored by our wonderful patrons over at patreon.com/Team TripleJump, where for as little as $1 at the $1 tier, you get to submit questions to this podcast. We have lots of other tiers available, though, with lots of other rewards, and we are actively going to be changing up the tiers and the rewards very soon, hopefully for the beginning of next month. So make sure if you are already a patron that you pay attention to any notices that go out. It's not anything spooky or scary. I believe our plan is to maintain the $1 tier. I don't appreciate being shadowed.
I didn't know you noticed.
Ashton's just copying my hand gestures.
I like them. They make me.
I'm emphasizing my point.
I just like them.
Yeah.
$1 though, you get to submit questions. That's not going anywhere, I don't believe.
No, and in terms of keeping up with the changes, the Jugsons, we probably will put out an actual video, actually outline, rather than like you having to keep an eye on social media posts. I imagine we'll put a video out with the new.
But if you don't already support us, go check it out. Patreon.com/Team Triple Jump. But there's one other thing we need to talk about before we get into the first question, Peter.
It's called TripleJump.
Hello everyone! As well as our extremely real and totally not fictitious in any way sponsor, we're officially partnered with PlayStation, Xbox and Nintendo to sell their codes through our own website, TripleJump.gg.
Here you can get everything from topping up your digital wallets to PlayStation Plus, Xbox Live Gold, Xbox Game Pass, and Nintendo Switch Online subscriptions, as well as Minecraft Mine Coins. Mine Coins, they'll be your coins any minute.
Nice one, Peter.
Oh, thanks very much.
It's 100% legitimate, directly supports us, and provides you with the delightful digital currencies you're going to buy anyway. Visit TripleJump.gg to browse our full stock.
TripleJump.gg. This is a real sponsor. Question 1 is from Tommy the Wank Engine.
You can't say that.
Well, I just did, so it's too late. My roommate, Ellen, keeps trying to ID the ferns in The Last of Us 2. She thinks if everyone calmed down for a second, it would be a great game for botanists to enjoy. What little graphical detail in video games blew you away?
I love the visual of Ellie stabbing a dog in the neck. Ellen stabbing a dog in the neck with a glass bottle and then going, what was it? And then all these AI and NPCs like, oh no, the dog who's got a name. Oh, Jeffrey the dog. No. And she's like, oh, that's a lovely fern. That's nice. What is it?
I have this. So Tommy the Wank Engine's mentioned Ellen a couple times, and I don't know if it's just like in tweets or in podcast questions, but I have this real image of Ellen as like this like really nice person that just wants to look at plants all day.
Is Ellen aware that they exist in our podcast world?
Ellen's one of my favorite just like distant characters.
People that you've never
met.
Almost
you
nothing
don't know
about.
Ellen.
Yeah, I just think she just sounds cool.
Okay.
Yeah. I like she's got good vibes.
I'd just hear more from Ellen.
vibes.
Yeah, Tommy,
anyway.
can you update Ellen, please?
Yeah. Tweet me.
So I've got a couple here. This is a game that I've not actually played, but I'm aware of this as a detail because I covered it in a list once a long time ago. And I think it's mad that it even exists. In Metal Gear Solid 2, there is a single asset that is only used once throughout the entire game, and it's almost impossible to even find, or it's not impossible to find, but you would just never actually encounter it in a normal run. But you enter a room at one point and there's a bar in the corner. If you go behind the bar, you'll then see an ice bucket for like some champers or whatever. And
some what?
Champers.
Champers.
And if you shoot the ice bucket, it will fall over and ice will fall out of it. And then if you stand there and watch the ice for several minutes, the cubes will just gradually get smaller and smaller and melt into nothing, which is just ridiculous that anyone put time into coding that. I think that's insane.
Hideo Kojima.
Yes.
Honestly, we could just talk about all of the crazy things he's put in his games. Yeah. There's even from MGS2, there's the seagulls that poo and you can slip over on the seagull poo.
Yeah.
There's so many
like
bonkers
in Newcastle.
stuff. There's a button to make your horse poo in Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah, true.
That's another important one. He's a madman. He's brilliant.
He's
but a
crazy.
madman.
He is, for sure. Talking of horses, another graphical detail that in some ways blew me away, but also I thought was absolutely ridiculous, was the shrinking bollocks in
Red Dead 2.
Red Dead 2. That's just mad that was ever included.
That was someone's whole job for like a month.
Yeah. They had to actually look at real videos of horses being brought into different temperatures and... Oh, fantastic. Ants in Skyrim. Did you know there are ants in Skyrim? Yeah, it was in a list we did once.
I'm aware of it from the list.
I didn't know that ants were in Skyrim until about 6 months ago. And I've not even played Skyrim within the last 6 months. But if you go to certain places and look on logs or just on the path, there are tiny little rows of ants just making their way to or from an anthill or something.
Good.
And you just don't see them unless you're actually... I think someone has to tell you that they're there before you even look for them and find them. Like, there's no way you're going to spot them.
I played the PS3 version of Skyrim.
Yeah.
So for me, it was all just one. They created like the nav mesh for the world, and then they just put one giant JPEG and just stretched it across the whole thing.
Yeah.
So ants, they definitely weren't in the PS3 version, and if they were, there's no way I could see them because it was just one long world texture from beginning to end.
I think they're more. They're more of a PC thing. You have to have your graphics reasonably high to see the ants. And I've got one last one which doesn't really count, but did you know, and this is something that I did discover myself, in Dishonored, in the opening level, there's a moment where the guy is having his portrait painted. He's standing and posing, and that portrait later appears throughout the game. And in the background of that, there's a table, and you can remove the jug from the table. And if you do that, then the portrait texture changes in the game.
That's
when you see
clever.
it without
fun.
the jug there.
I like that.
Which is just a fun little...
And that's
it's a clever
also
thing.
one of Jug's sons.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
That's a Jug son right there.
So those are some of mine.
Incredible. Ashton.
Incredible.
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 The results have been incredible.
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 I'm gonna do both.
I love the like post-apocalyptic cities in games. Like I love Last of Us and Last of Us 2 and Horizon Zero Dawn. I just love like these big, old, decrepit like tower blocks that have fallen down. But obviously that's not a little thing, that's quite a big piece.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that like you can always find little bits of like lore or like little just tidbits about the people that used to be here. Especially Last of Us 2 has got quite, and Last of Us has got quite nice little bits where you just go into a random house and you've got like remnants of someone that used to live here. Like you can play darts in someone's house because they used to play darts in their house, that kind of thing, which I love. And I was thinking about Half-Life Alyx, because Half-Life Alyx is a VR game, so a lot of it is like you're as immersed in it as you possibly could be. And there's so many little just moments where you just like, or again in a post-apocalyptic city, but it's so, I just love them. I just think they're so fun.
Great place to be.
I just think I like the idea of like a civilization that's gradually kind of come to an end and what happens afterwards. But
Just love mass suffering.
Yeah.
Big fan.
But there's things that you can write on whiteboards with whiteboard pens in Half-Life Alyx that you can just write.
Nice.
Someone taught a whole maths lesson in Half-Life Alyx using the VR to like do the maths and stuff on a window.
Just like in Nukem Forever.
Yeah, but all people do is draw willies.
That's all they do.
No. And you can write on whiteboards and there'll be like things on whiteboards that someone's written, not obviously other players, but like past people have written on whiteboards and stuff. And I just really like that little moments.
That's cool.
I like finding things that are just really subtle that you could just really easily
But
miss.
bring it to life.
But bring it to life and make you think that people have actually been here before.
Back to life.
To reality.
Thank you, guys.
That's okay.
That's
a really low effort, wasn't it?
Yeah, no one had the energy there. I have one specific one.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was trying to think what's a word.
Example.
Thank you. Got any more? Captain Thesaurus is his.
Thesauri, I believe. No.
Dinosaur.
I've got.
He just mutters the word dinosaur. Dinosaur.
Why? Can you explain that? Because it sounds like sounds like a dinosaur, right? Is that it?
Yeah, and I just thought thesauri might be the plural of a thesaurus dinosaur. I'm sorry, just kind of thought it in my head. I didn't realize I'd said it.
Just fell out of your mouth, didn't it? Just fell out. I've
sorry.
got Resistance Fall of Man, launch title for the PlayStation 3, of which I was a big fan. And I remember, and I've definitely talked about this before, the windows in that game, when you shoot them, they splinter in a, I suppose the correct term would be a procedural way.
Right.
So they don't shatter the same way every time. And if you shoot them, like different bits will fragment and fall out. And I remember being so absolutely blown away by that I showed it to my mum, and she was not as impressed as I was. I was like, you need to come and see this.
Mum, get the camera.
Mum,
quickly.
Look at this. If I shoot the window in the top corner, look, a little bit of glass fell out, and look how it's like splintered and shattered. And if I shoot a bit more, a little bit more will fall out. That is groundbreaking stuff. It's absolutely blew my mind in 2007.
She's like, Ben, you can do that in real life.
Ben,
just go shoot our windows.
You need
window
to
or
study
something.
for your GCSEs, Ben.
Yeah.
You've got to stop wasting time. You're not going to get a real job, and you're going to be
Video
boring.
games aren't a real career.
There's no career in video
You won't
games.
be carrying a
despite the fact-
calculator in your pocket when you grow up.
Yes,
I
exactly.
will, Mum.
Despite the fact that you're
Guess
reading
what?
a video game magazine every month, there are no jobs in video games. So no, she wasn't like that. She was very encouraging. But even so, she did want me to study for my exams.
Yeah.
And she wasn't interested in Windows.
No.
But that was one. That was one that I remember specifically being absolutely blown away by. Graphics aren't going to get any better than that. There's no way.
No way.
Truth.
That's the peak.
Do you have another one, Ben?
No, I don't actually. Let's move on to a section we've never done before. It's called the longest section ever because Ben's played every game ever made.
Oh
It's
my
what
God.
we playing. It's what we play in time. Time to talk about what we
Playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been playing a game this week.
Ooh.
I've kind of made myself slightly unwell with the amount I've played this game.
Oh, okay.
this
That's
week.
why you're not very well then.
Yeah, it actually is. I went to bed last night. Just the only reason I stopped and went to bed is because I had a headache from playing the game. And I woke up this morning with just sort of the tail end of the headache still kind of there. I was fortunate enough to get a big old discount on Orcs Must Die 3 this week.
Oh, I did too. I've downloaded it as well, but I haven't played it yet.
Oh, haven't you? I mean, I don't want to big it up. I mean, it's partly because I'm a huge fan of the series. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's going to be the best, your game of the year 2021. But I'm a huge fan of the first two games. I played them, I think, through uni, really. They were one of those things that, you know, probably nearly cost me my degree.
Yeah.
And I have managed to have 3 sessions of the game, 3 evenings since I bought it, and I have clocked in 17 hours of the game,
That's a lot of orcs there.
it really is.
They must die.
One of them was on Saturday night, so I did stay up like very late playing it, and then the other 2 were on school nights. So
That's very naughty.
yeah, it
Gosh.
is really bad.
How is it though? Is it living up to your expectations? I know you've been waiting a long time for this.
It
one.
is, yeah. Ooh.
Ashton, can you stop attacking the table, please?
Biff.
You okay?
That have you funnied it? That's hilarious. That's why they call it the funny Ben.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty funny.
Sorry, what did you just ask me? Is it living up to?
Is it living up to the expectations? Ashton, can you stop hitting the table,
Sorry.
please?
It is, yeah. At first, for the first 3 levels, I was like enjoying it very much, but I was like, why did I love the first 2 games like so much? I'm like, this is really good, but like it's just really good. And then I realized it's because I'd not unlocked the barricade yet. So for those who don't know, Orcs Must Die, I've talked about it before on the podcast, but I will say, is a tower defense franchise of games where you place a load of traps in a corridor, and then a lot of kind of comically designed orcs and trolls and things will come at you. They've all got different traits and abilities and things like that. But also, while they're coming down the corridor and activating your traps, it's not just like, you know, some tower defense games are top down. You are a third-person character with weapons as well and spells and stuff. So
Is it kind of like
combine
Dungeon
the 2.
Defenders?
Yes, it is actually. I've
Yeah.
played Dungeon Defenders. That has more of an emphasis on combat over traps, I think, I would
Okay.
say. But this is probably more traps over combat to an extent. But one of the traps you unlock in all of the games fairly early on is just a barricade. So it takes up a tile that they can't step on. And that allows you to start like mazing them through stuff and making really narrow choke points. And there's a lot of like dopamine activation visual stuff going on in that game, where if you kill an enemy with 3 different types of attack. Like you freeze them and then you shoot them and then a trap goes down on them. It'll say like ×3 as they die. Not out loud.
Does it say it like
No,
that?
it
×3.
Times
and
3.
you can get up to like ×6, 7, 8 sometimes if you're really like throwing stuff at them. And it's so satisfying just to see like loads of things popping up all over the screen. And they've added a load of new enemies, really interesting new traps. So yeah, I've got 3 levels left of the campaign. Then there's DLC that is free that I've got to play through, and then they've got like an endless mode and some other mode as well that I've not even tried yet called Scramble. I don't even know what it is.
Scramble.
So there's a lot still for me to play.
Coming from my brand.
Yeah, Scrambled Ash.
I was like, that's my brand.
And also it now makes me just want to go back and play the first 2 because I've not played them in a while.
Oh, we'll never see you.
We will
again.
never
you may
see
never
Peter
see me
Austin
again.
If there's an endless mode,
Yeah.
never.
No.
You need to do a retrospective. You need to do a video about what makes
Yeah.
orcs must die. Why I have killing all the orcs,
Killing
killing
all
every
the orcs.
orc in Orcs Must Die 1 to 3.
At least in the second game, maybe the first as well. I don't think they've got it in the third, obviously. But on the front menu, it just has your overall kill count of all the orcs you've killed. And I'm pretty sure in Orcs Must Die 2, I've killed like 18,000 enemies.
My God.
Oh my God.
Which is a lot
Just
of
call
fun.
him Genocide Austin.
Yeah.
So I'm loving it. And visually, it's just very nice as well. As I say, the enemies are all very comical, and it's quite kind of a bit like. Are you aware of the game Overlord? It was an Xbox exclusive, but it's that kind of. I think it was exclusive.
I think it was on PS3 as well. Maybe it was just
I
the
don't know.
sequel. Overlord
Maybe
2
not.
was certainly on PS3.
But it's that kind of thing where it's like it's like Fable or something. It's all quite stylized and colorful. So yeah, very very fun. And that's all I've played.
Well, don't tire yourself out.
I'll try not to.
We need you here on top
Yeah.
form.
We need
top
you
form.
on your top form, yeah.
But the realm needs me on top form, Ben.
The realm
Can
can
wait.
wait until after you've eaten your vegetables, Peter
Yeah.
Austin, and
Okay.
done
You
your
need
my
to
homework.
make sure you get your 8
biscuits.
hours of sleep before you have your Belvita
You're
breakfast
right.
biscuit.
Yeah.
Like Peter, I've only played 1 game this week, and I've played maybe not 17 hours worth.
Mhm.
Well, don't know. I played it pretty much all day, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So I've restarted and been playing Horizon Zero Dawn.
With the
Because
PS5
the PS5 patch,
Mhm.
because I already had it, a copy of it. I think it was PS Plus a couple months ago.
It's certainly on the PlayStation Collection, maybe?
Yeah,
the PS
maybe.
Plus collection
Yes,
on PS5.
possibly, yeah.
maybe?
So we played that with the PS5 patch, and I just love that game. It's so good. It's probably the first game I played through on the PlayStation 4 when I got it, because we only got the PlayStation 4 kind of the end of when the PlayStation 4 was at its peak. And I love that game. Aloy is such a good character. The world is just so pretty, and every time I get into a new area, I'm like, oh, I forgot this area is so nice. And I'm really enjoying it, and I love the story, and I'm excited to kind of carry on and explore a bit more. I've already made it to I've made it to Meridian, if that means something to you people at home. And I fully recommend going back and playing it before the second one comes out, and if you get time. It's just so good. Man, I love it.
I intend to before the was it February next year?
Yeah.
I
Early
will
next
definitely
year.
give it a replay. I've got a lot of things to play now.
Yeah.
Though, and also, the next few months are going to be absolutely
Chock full.
silly bonkers.
Yeah.
Shocker.
So I thought
Block.
I'd play it now because one, I won't have a PS5 once I officially move all of my
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
here. And also,
Did we say you got a flat?
Oh yeah, I got a flat, guys.
Got a flat.
I moved in literally last night. I haven't got any of my stuff there. I literally bought clothes, bedding, and towels so that I could sustain myself for a couple nights, and then I'm going to gradually bring things up over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, once I move fully, I won't have PlayStation 5, so I want to get it all played over the weekends when I'm home, whilst also packing to move, but mainly Horizon Zero
Mainly
Dawn,
Horizon,
pretty
yeah,
much.
mainly Horizon.
And it just looks great with the PS5 patch. It's still a little bit glitchy because it's running at 60 FPS when it wasn't before. So occasionally, like in cutscenes, Aloy will just go,
Oh God!
and I'm like, what the heck? And she'll just like jump up and down, or like there'll be glitches sometimes, mainly in the cutscenes. But the gameplay does look pretty stunning. I can't really tell the difference between 60 FPS and 30 FPS. But my boyfriend's like, oh, doesn't that look so good at 60 FPS? I'm like, yeah, it
You
looks
do often
so
need it side by side
good.
to really
Yeah.
like the jump from 1080 to 4K
Yeah.
is not something that you can appreciate like to the naked eye.
No,
with
but he was like,
comparison.
I can't play Horizon Zero Dawn now because it's only on 30 FPS. I need to wait for PS5 patch. And then I was playing it, and he was like, oh man, looks so good, 60 FPS. And I'm like, yeah, it looks great.
Still waiting for that Bloodborne patch, Sony, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, Sony.
Because I streamed the DLC for Bloodborne a couple of months ago, and playing that on my PS5, having, that's the difference maker. That's when you can tell when something is lower frames.
Yeah.
Is you go back to a game that's 30 frames when you're used to 60. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, this doesn't look bad, but it's noticeably worse than... we're spoiled. We're spoiled rotten.
We are.
We often get asked, what's the big difference maker? Why should I get next gen? It's for the frames.
Because once you get it,
it's
you
for the
can't go
frames
back.
per second. You can't go back. You can't go back. I had Borderlands 2 on PS3, which was cross-saved to the Handsome Collection on PS4.
Yeah.
And going back and booting up the PS3 version and just playing it for a little bit. It's like, how did we ever put up with
Yeah.
this?
Broken?
It's horrible.
Why can you only
This
see
is
half
so
of the
terrible.
game?
Can't believe we ever put up with this nonsense. The windows don't even splinter properly. It's terrible. That's good. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
I think it's good. What have you been playing?
Well,
I didn't form any words then. I was like,
was that just
I
a
said
noise?
thank you. Yeah. That's like
I understood all of it though.
I got it. It's
I
only now that
didn't.
you've
There
sort
was
of
no
made me go
fault.
back and think about it. That was just
Impressive.
sounds, I think.
I realised that people
Just
listening, they're like,
guttural
did
noises.
Ashton just like stroke out? Oh dear.
Thanks, Ashton.
That's okay. What have you been playing, Ben?
I suffered a custard-related injury, which nearly cost me my gaming career for this past few days. I was washing up a custard can, right? And don't laugh, don't smile.
I'm not laughing.
And I cut my thumb open on the can.
You got a
Can I
custard.
see?
It was really sore. It's
Oh,
mostly
come on.
healed there. It was there. There was a little. You see, there's a little line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I cut my thumb open. It was bleeding. What? What's up?
Just saying, everyone at home is absolutely bereft of ribs of the joke that I just did. And
What custard?
Let's rewind.
oh, you got a custard. Told you.
Okay, that was
it, yeah.
actually pretty good. Sorry, I thought you were just really disappointed that I injured myself. It's not my fault. It's the custard.
I
can's
liked your
fault.
joke, but I also wanted to make sure that my friend and colleague Ben Potter was all right, you know?
I didn't. So you heard my joke and didn't laugh.
Yeah, well,
What
I
you're
was
saying.
concerned about the health of my friend and
All right.
colleague, Ben Potter.
Okay.
So,
I'm okay now, though.
Yeah.
I've made a full recovery.
That's
Didn't
good.
stop me from playing video games. Going, ow. And boy, have I played a lot of video games.
yeah.
So I gave Splitgate a go. That one that we saw had the Season 0 update
Right.
at Gamescom, which doesn't make any
Was it
sense.
good?
Yeah, it's all right. All right, it's okay. It's okay.
Well, I ain't spending any
I
time
ain't
on it.
spending any money on it. I started it up, and it's just one of those free-to-play games where it's an overwhelming menu of like Battle Pass, skins, only so much time left in this limited event, and so it took a bit of deciphering to understand what was going on. I only played one game, barely used the portal mechanic because it was, while it's very intuitive, nobody else was using it in like my unranked
Oh,
game because
right.
I'm level 0, so I was playing against everyone else who was rubbish. Came top, big boy. Did like it,
And that's with an injury.
and
Yeah.
that's with an injury. I fought through an injury very bravely, and I think I've managed to convince my usual playing group to download it. So hopefully I'll play some more. But I just sampled it, and it was good. I did like it. Hidden Agenda.
Oh, yeah.
I went through my
yeah.
sort of annual playthrough with my siblings who were up visiting for the weekend. So we played a few party games. I'm only like 4 trophies off getting the platinum in that.
Oh,
now.
nice.
But it requires some really obscure, specific decisions to be made. And so I didn't do them. Knowledge is Power.
Great
Another
game.
I wanted to... That's where the hot dog photo is from.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Tweeted
that's
if
right.
That is
people
the
saw
best
that.
character to pick. Like,
Undeniably.
there's no... If you get that one first, you're immediately like 10 times better
You
than
basically
everyone else.
won already.
Second is the ferryman.
The pink haired
yeah,
one.
the pink hair. And
he's-
then
he's
third
good
is
too.
the emo
Yes.
kid.
Yeah, that's also
Those
a
are
good
like
one.
top 3, I think.
They are amazing. My dad always gets left with the blue blob man, which isn't a very entertaining one, and he's weirdly proud of that. And I wanted to tag the developer in it because we play it so often. I was like, thank you for your amazing game. Really appreciate all the hard work.
Yeah.
Turns out they shut down like 3 years
Oh,
ago.
no.
They're gone forever.
What,
Very
the
sad.
people knowledge is power?
The Knowledge is Power people are gone.
I will never
And
get a second
Playlink is
one.
gone as well.
Playlink has been
I don't-
abandoned, yeah.
I've spent so much whenever I play multiplayer games,
This is
or
really
whenever I
crushing
used
my
to play
dreams.
multiplayer games, it would be, oh, well, friends are over, let's get Playlink out.
Well, I bust out the Playlink.
Now I don't tend to anymore. But
People unfamiliar, it's like Jackbox.
You
You
play on your
download a
phone.
companion app and loads of people can play along. Love Playlink. It's a shame.
Did a list about that.
What party games?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to re-record it.
Oh, Ashton.
I did it.
It'll be good though. Look out for it soon. The Olympics game got the platinum. You want to know
Excellent.
how I got the
How?
platinum? Because I only have one copy and
Yeah.
you need to do some online trophies. I subscribed to PlayStation Now, which I never thought I would do
Wow.
because my previous experience with it has been terrible. And they had so few games that they would just sort of list them. It was like all the games under A, all the games under B.
Yeah.
And there would be like a handful of games in each category, none of which were particularly exciting. And then they would have the different categories like first person shooters. And it would just be the same games again,
Yeah.
just popping up over. And it was a horrible UI. It's much better now. Obviously, you can download the PS4 games to your console, still have to stream the PS3 ones, which is a huge bummer. But there were enough games on there to justify me subscribing for 1 month. So I subscribed for 1 month. I downloaded the Olympics game and I boosted myself to the platinum trophy. So I've done that. I am an Olympian.
You're
I
the only
think.
person who's ever won a platinum at the Olympics.
Yeah.
Well done.
That's me.
Congrats.
I downloaded Near Automata, which I intend to play.
Oh, that's a good game.
I
It's got a
downloaded-
lot of endings though.
Yes, that's part of the reason why I wanted to play it, because people who like
Isn't
it
it
don't stop talking about it. and
A
I
to
need to
Z
try it.
endings. Like there's one for every number of the alphabet.
Well, see, now
Every
I don't wanna-
number of the alphabet. God's sake.
Oh.
See, now I don't want to play it. That's too many endings. But if I have time, I have a month. I downloaded Gravity Rush 2, which I haven't played yet. Ashton, you're all right. Do you need another fudge or like, what's going on?
minute. Peter's made me really upset.
Okay, Peter, stop bullying the
I
co-workers.
will.
Gravity Rush 2, loved Gravity Rush 1, never played the sequel. That's on there. Downloaded it. Judgment, the spin-off of Yakuza. Guys, come on. Stay with me.
I'm listening. I'm sorry.
Spin-off of Yakuza.
Judgment.
Spin-off of Yakuza, Judgment, where you're a detective. I really like it. It's set in that same area.
Didn't they talk about it last in Gamescom? I didn't realize it was already out.
There's a sequel.
Oh,
The
that's
sequel's coming
isn't it?
out soon, and so I downloaded the first one. I like Yakuza, and Judgment's pretty fun so far. Played about 4 hours. I am enjoying it. Little Hope,
Oh, yeah.
Dark Pictures Anthology. Played that through with my siblings, and I played the Curator's Cut. When you finish it, turns out you unlock the Curator's Cut. You know when other characters just bugger off for a bit,
Yeah.
and it's just two of you talking. This is where they're talking.
Oh.
And you get to experience different sides of the story, which I've never had before. There was still some very wonky stuff in there, but it was enjoyable.
Did
Playing through it
anything
again.
interesting happen differently to when we played it?
Kept Angela alive.
Oh, well,
and
that's not interesting.
She ends
It's
up
a bad move.
disappearing.
Good.
She ends up disappearing, but then she just comes back, and it's never explained or explored. And I don't know if maybe in the
Did
non-curator's
she just go for,
cut
like, a spa
version
day?
you do see it. Yeah, well, I mean, pretty much she goes into a sewer, so
Basically the same
kind of
thing,
a
isn't
spa
it?
game. Yeah. I went to an arcade.
Oh.
And I played House of the Dead Scarlet Dawn.
Was that at the seaside?
No, it wasn't actually. It was at the Gate. At the
Oh.
Yumi
that's-
Arcade.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
We were
pretty
talking
good.
about
in
that
there.
yesterday.
We were, yeah. And the quality of the voice acting in this game is so low and so hammy, intentionally, seemingly, that I just want to manifest this. I want to put it out there that Sega, next time you're making a House of the Dead game and you need English voice actors, I would love to be in it and do a voice. I can do it well. I can do it not well, whatever the script demands. I just want to have I think I can emulate the same level of enthusiasm
Yeah.
about a zombie apocalypse that the characters involved can. Like, no, don't eat me. It's incredible. I want that.
I want that.
I want Peter
want
wants
that,
that.
I
We
think.
all want that. Okay, fine.
Should we
I
shoot
mean,
our
you can-
shot?
You can get on board, Mike.
No, well, what I meant was I want to see you in House of the Dead.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'd also...
I'm welcoming you aboard the House of
Sure.
the Dead train.
We'll all do it.
Hashtag get TJ in House of Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tweet Sega.
At
Let them
Sega.
know.
At Sega.
We want to be in the next
This is
House of
us
the Dead
shooting our
game,
shot.
please. The last one, I had to look up the name on Wikipedia, was apparently released in 2018. I feel like we're due a new House of the Dead game.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready, reach out. We'll do it for free.
We will do it for free.
We would love it. And also
for a
maybe
Twix.
we'll do it in exchange for one of those really cool arcade units. We'll just plug it in upstairs in our office.
That'd be really cool.
We'll do that. But please, Sega, hit us up. We want to be in the next House of the Dead game.
Yes.
And finally, Pokemon Crystal, playing that in bed.
How do you
Exploring a
have
bit
time?
of Kanto.
Well,
How do you
I
have
mean,
time to play all these games?
he's had friends and family up.
That
A
is
number of them
true.
were friends and family.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. When I have people over, I have no time to play
We were
anything.
out for
But that's what they did.
7 hours on Saturday, and we still came back and played several Playlink games afterwards.
Well, no, yeah. I mean, Playlink, that's like one thing, but I didn't know if they were up like a couple days.
Yeah, they were.
And how did you...
And presumably you went to the arcade with them. See, so
Went to the
that's-
arcade with them. They arrived
there's-
Friday.
yeah.
We played Hidden Agenda. They were there on Saturday. Went to the arcade. We played.
Oh, you went to the... Okay, yeah.
Little Hope.
Right, yeah.
Then I played a little bit of Splitgate on Sunday, not much. Then I did the Olympics game on the bank holiday Monday for like
Right.
an hour or two.
Okay.
Then I played pretty much just Judgment since then. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah.
Is it all accounted for now,
Yeah, no,
Ashton?
I just was
live
like-
alone. I
I
don't
was
have
just like,
anything
wow.
else to do.
I was like, wow, that's a lot of games. Maybe it's because I hyper focus on one game, but then
Maybe
I
it's because
feel no
all you
time.
own at the moment is a bed and some towels.
Well, yeah.
Every letter of the alphabet.
Yeah.
I spend like 4 days a week not near any games, so maybe that's why.
It's my hobby. It's
No, I wasn't judging.
No, it's
I
fine.
wasn't
I'm
judging.
not getting defensive
I
or
was just
anything.
curious.
It's fine.
Ashton, question 2, please.
Oh, everyone's bullying me.
You're tearing this family apart.
This comes from the Gazorbatron.
Gazorbatron.
Thank you.
The Gazor patron. It's okay, Ashton.
I'm like self-soothing myself right
Yeah.
now. Howdy. I've been doing some thinking lately about why I bounce off some games and fall into others, specifically with The Witcher 3, which took me 3 attempts to get past the first couple of hours. I ended up loving the game, but the first bit was so lore-heavy that it was a hard pill to swallow. So, I was wondering what it takes for you cool humans to bounce off a game and how long do you give it before it's relegated to the back of the shelf? Thanks.
Thanks, Ashton.
Cool humans.
Cool humans.
All humans.
Confirmed.
Thank you, Gazorpatron, as well. I have talked in the past about how I tried Witcher 3 a few times and struggled, partly because of the lore and just the scope of it. And I thought, a bit much for me at the moment. Same with Horizon Zero Dawn. I can see that Horizon's a good game, and I like Aloy as well as a character. But I just thought, I don't know if I'm ready for like an open world at the moment. So that will sometimes make me bounce off a game. In the truest sense, in that I know I will come back to it because I know that I can see that it's good, and that I probably will enjoy it when I'm ready for it. But that is usually the thing. And even things like something like Skyrim or Fallout, I've never finished Skyrim or any of the Fallout games. I've never actually completed the main quests. I did finish Oblivion properly, but again, it's just that sense of scope, really. Like I can be playing it even for days or weeks at a time, and then I'll just get to the point where I'm like, okay, I've just had enough of that now. I don't know if that counts as much as what Gazorpatron's saying with, it's perhaps more about your first sit down with the game and then you're like, no, not for me right now. But I mean, and to answer the second part, how long do I give it before it's relegated to the back of the shelf? I think that just completely depends on what the game is, why I bounced off it in the first place.
Yeah.
It's completely a case-by-case thing. Sometimes, as I say, if it's just a big game, I might realize quite quickly, actually, I guess I'm not ready for an open world RPG right now. And so maybe within one session or two, I'll stick it on the shelf. But sometimes it can take me many, many plays before I go, maybe this just isn't right for me. Like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, for example.
Yeah.
I played a fair bit of that and I thought, okay, I've had my fun and that's it for me now. And I actually knew that going in as well. I said that on the podcast at the time, that I bought the game. I knew that I would play it, experience some of the world, and then not finish it.
Yeah.
Because it's Assassin's Creed. Ashton.
I'm pretty similar in the sense of like, it doesn't have to be immediately, but I do this thing where I really, really fixate on a certain game for like a period of time until I've either got to a certain point where I'm just done with it, like Peter, or I finish the game. And sometimes I'll try and play other games during that time. but I really want to play this one game. So I'll be like, oh, I'm not enjoying it. So I'll just stop playing it and play the other game. It also, that was a heavy-footed person, wasn't it?
Someone has to get to the toilet immediately.
It doesn't take me a lot to bounce off a game either. If it's like slightly bit boring, like there's a lot, like you're saying, lore, and it takes a long time for like to kind of get into the like main meat of the game, that can put me off. And also if it's like really hard, I can get really put off by games. So Nier Automata, I got to a boss fight and I just died like 4 or 5 times in a row, lost all of my stuff. And I was like, I physically can't get past this boss fight now because I've just lost all my stuff and I can't get my stuff back. So I just was like, well, I'm not playing it anymore. I'm done with it. I'm finished now. And maybe I'll go back and play it eventually, but I don't think so. And Gravity Rush, I started playing and I just couldn't get my head around it. And like the physics,
it is a bit of
the
a
physics
mind
of it was
flip.
kind of like confusing my brain. So I just stopped playing it. But I kind of, it doesn't take a lot for a game to put me off. But if I like a game, I will really like a game and play it quite a lot. And normally I give it 1 or 2 goes before I relegate it to the back of the shelf. Or I've written here, they end up in the metaphorical brain bin because I will not play them anymore. And I will forget they exist.
I have a physical brain bin.
Yeah.
Is it made of brains or?
Yeah.
You know.
Filled with brains.
Yeah, all of them.
That's where all my brain cells go, in the brain bin.
Yeah?
Yeah, so I've only got like 3 left.
Oh, that's true. It's a little bit true. But
Friend and colleague Ben Potter, what about you?
That's my hyphenated, that's my full name now. Again, it comes back to that discussion we had a little while ago about, when you get a game for free.
Oh, yeah.
Or like on PlayStation Plus or Game Pass or PlayStation Now, or someone lends you something. If you have a financial stake in a game that you have paid for, certainly in my case, I'm far more invested in seeing it through, even if it takes me a while to get into it, or I ultimately don't really like it that much, or out of pure spite in the case of Death Stranding. But if I got a game for free, as part of a subscription service, there is a high chance that I will bounce off it because I'm just there to give it a go. Essentially, I'm just sampling it, and I feel far less, not guilt necessarily, but far less of an obligation to play through a game. So that is a huge factor for me. It's part of the reason why, the big reason why I bounced off Red Dead Redemption 2 when that came out, because Peter and I were in the very fortunate position of being able to get codes for games through our employer at the time. And that game was just so dense. And again, much like you said regarding Horizon, clearly a phenomenal game.
Absolutely,
But at the time, I didn't want a game like that. And yes, I should go back to it, but who has the time at this point? Because it is famously a very dense game.
Yeah.
And so as I was slowly forced to walk around my camp, and it was like, go do some chores to help out, and there were no map markers to tell me how to do chores, I was like, this is just too much right now. I can't do this. And so I bounced off it. So that is perhaps more than anything, that is a factor. If I buy a game myself, I'm pretty much dead set on following it through to the end. But if I get it gratis through whatever means, there's a good chance that I will not stick with it. So apart from that, is it meant to be really good? As in the case of various games that I haven't forced myself to go through. But Hades, for example, is a game that I did enjoy, but if it didn't have the reputation it did, there's a good chance, I would never give it a go because I'm not a fan of the genre necessarily, or B, that I would have stuck with it if I'd have, died a few times in a row, which is obviously the entire point of roguelikes and roguelites. But there's a good chance I may not have stuck with it because of that. But because of its reputation and because of all the Game of the Year awards, I felt obliged to see it through to the end, to escape Hades, which is what I did. And I did ultimately enjoy it, which is, it says something for sticking with games sometimes if you can. But if I play one session of a game with no urge to come back to it, and it's been like a few days, then sometimes that's all it takes to like quietly put it to the back of your mind and not play it again.
In the brain bin.
In the brain bin. Exactly. Like, for
I
example,
think if it's
if I
not
played...
calling your name, if it's not calling your name to like go back and play it again, it kind of just stays on the shelf. Like, there's loads of games and I'll go and I'm like, I don't really want to play any of these games. Like nothing's speaking to me loudly enough that makes me want to actually put it in the. And also, is it on the shelf?
Yeah, do I have to get up?
Is it not already on the PlayStation?
Yeah.
Do I have to put a disc in my console? Ugh.
No thanks.
For example, Judgment, which I am enjoying.
Yeah.
If I played, because I played a bit more last night, but I didn't have time to play any more the night before. If I was stuck with my 3 hours of Judgment played on Monday, and I did enjoy it, and I didn't get around to playing it again for an entire week, there's every chance that I might just not come back to it because I hadn't invested enough time to feel like it's worth coming back to.
Yeah.
I can't remember the buttons. I've played other things since then. I can't remember exactly what's going on in the story. It's a game about a detective and it requires you to remember stuff.
Right.
I was just about to say that you know, there are the games that you might start, and if you have to leave it for a week or two because you're away or you're doing something else or whatever, sometimes that will make me less likely to go back to a game than if I'd perhaps not even got around to starting it in the first place.
Yeah.
Because I'll feel like I've got a save file on there, so I can either restart and then I feel like I've wasted that time that I played it initially, or I could try and get back into it and like work out the controls, remember all of the abilities I've unlocked so far, you know, and that in some ways I can just be caught between a rock and a hard place of do I delete my save and start again, or do I try and pick it up and work out what the hell's going on? And that decision, that difficult decision, can stop me from making either choice, I guess.
Yeah.
And then every so often you just get a game that you get obsessed with.
Yes.
Like Orcs Must Die 3.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Or whichever Halo game it was that you were obsessed with.
3.
3 before that.
Yeah.
Or Project Makeover.
And you just play that non-stop.
Yeah.
Or House of the Dead Scarlet Dawn.
Featuring Triple
Featuring
Jump.
Triple Jump.
Can't get it out of my head. Please tweet Sega. Hashtag get us in the game. That's it. Hashtag get us in the game.
Get us
Sega will understand.
in the game.
Right, let's move on to something
Okay.
a little peculiar, a little strange.
It's weird news time.
Oh! It's weird news. Time for some weird video game news. Of course, you can always submit your own weird video game news that you have found by tweeting us at
Or
Team
Facebook.
Triple Jump or going on Facebook. Thank you, Ashton.
That's okay. Sorry.
There's a post that goes out once a week. I think is it a Tuesday?
Yeah, I
I
think
feel like it's
so.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Same time that Patreon questions go up, I think. normally.
Yes, the wonderful Fraser posts those images out saying, "What weird news have you seen? Reply, leave a comment, and we could use your weird news." My
Just
tummy
like
rumbled.
we did the news that was DM'd to me by Free Crazy T at Yabish on Twitter. YABICHHH.
Yabish.
Yeah, bish.
And also submitted the same story was submitted on Facebook from Chris Thompson, Jonathan Wong, and oh goodness me, Matthew Wesolowski. Wow. Lots of letters in that name. I think I did okay. I've got a write-up here from thegamer.com, but there was Kotaku and various others out there as well. Gamer demands GTA 6 update after rushing the stage on a German game show.
No.
This is weird.
Did he get it?
Well, we'll see.
Hope so.
It says, Taser stormed the stage of this week's Schlag den Star to ask
It's not funny.
No, to ask the most important question in the world. Where is GTA 6? I don't know if Taser is the name of some sort of... Yeah, it is.
Or if he was tased.
Yeah. This is by Eric Zvitzer on thegamer.com. A Grand Theft Auto superfan stormed the stage of a popular German game show to demand that the host ask when GTA 6 is coming out. Schlag den Star is a German TV game show that airs live on Saturday nights. Live. This week, an audience member who identifies himself as Taser ran up onto the stage while the host was chatting with a contestant, German reality star Evelyn Maria Burdecki, and tells him that he would like to know where the hell GTA 6 is.
Where it?
Quote, translated from German, I'm still waiting for GTA 6 for 8 years, Taser says. The host, German comedian Elton, tells Taser that he has no idea when GTA 6 is coming out and it isn't up to him. Elton has experience as both a presented and a voice actor.
Okay.
Typo there from the gamer. His voice can be heard in the German version of Halo 3. Apparently.
It's come full circle.
Which may explain why Taser thought he might have some inside information about
You're
the
a
next
voice
Grand
actor.
Theft Auto.
Yeah, you were in Halo.
You were in the German translation of Halo 3 when a Rockstar bringing out the next GTA game.
When?
Elton and Burdecki are both taken aback by Taser's sudden appearance on the show, but the two remain calm and entertain Taser until security shows up to escort him off the stage. The guest, Burdecki is her surname, Evelyn Maria Burdecki, she's a bit like scared at first. She's like, what is happening? And I think fair enough, because this guy looks slightly scary.
Right.
But he then just sort of rants at the audience for a bit. GTA 6 is a computer game, isn't it? Burdecki asks. Exactly, Taser says before returning his focus to Elton and demanding that he address the camera. And
yes, thank you, Burdecki.
Yes.
Anyway, Elton.
Address the camera.
You look very nice today. You.
Demanding that he address the camera and supposedly Rockstar Games with the world's most important question, where is GTA 6? Last week, voice actor Dave Jackson shared on Facebook...
Off of PlayStation 8?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. Probably not. Shared on Facebook that he's playing a character named Captain McLean in an upcoming GTA game. He later clarified that he isn't sure if the game he's in is GTA 6 or an unreleased chapter of GTA 5, presumably GTA Online. Rumblings of GTA 6 have steadily increased over the last several months, including a leak that suggests it will have an evolving map when it releases sometime 2025. This is the final paragraph now. This might be bad news for Taser, who was eventually escorted off stage by security. Just before the show got back on track, host Elton wondered aloud, and they've spelled aloud A-L-L-O-W-E-D, the verb, but they mean out loud.
Yeah.
Host Elton wondered out loud if he'd perhaps been, if Taser had perhaps been paid by Take-Two to rush the stage, perhaps as some kind of publicity stunt. Let's hope that's not the case, but keep an eye out for more GTA streakers in the coming months.
Streakers.
He says in German something like, "Oh, who was he sent by Take-Two? Who makes GTA?" And then they just carry on with the show.
Rockstar's GTA. Who makes it?
Who?
Take-Two.
Take-Two?
Yeah.
I mean, they do publish it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that is weird.
That is weird.
Yeah.
The Winkler's out again.
Oh, no. The Winkler.
Winkle's out for GTA.
Yeah. I have some weird news also.
Yeah.
It comes from Samuel Benson on Twitter. On Facebook, sorry. And Toby at Ketchup Duncan on Twitter. And it's from Kotaku by Ethan Gak. I always forget.
Yeah.
Somehow, Martin Luther King in Fortnite is not and they put a swear word in the title, an S-post.
Right.
Okay.
S-post.
Yeah.
Master Chief and Rick Sanchez tour the civil rights struggle is the subheading.
This broke about 12 hours after the previous podcast was recorded.
Yeah. We were talking about it last week in the office, but we figured we should probably talk about it on podcast as well.
Yeah.
In a shocking and logic-defying twist, Epic Games put an interactive Martin Luther King Jr. Civil Rights Museum in Fortnite. It seems like a well-intentioned effort to spread awareness of Dr. King's legacy and racial injustice, and I also cannot think of a worse place for it to be rolled out than Epic's Metaverse Battle Royale. Celebrate the life and work of Nobel Peace Prize winner Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in a new interactive experience presented by Time Studios, the company announced today, aka last week. Developed by members of the community in the Fortnite Creative, March Through Time immerses players in the entirety of Dr. King's monumental I Have a Dream speech and the history surrounding it. The March Through Time mode transports players back to 1963's Washington, D.C. during the Civil Rights Movement's March on Washington. In addition to a recording of King's historic speech, the interactive museum will also have landmarks and mini-games. Okay. These activities progress players through the experience and bring to life important themes of Dr. King's speech. We move forward when we work together, writes Epic. Oh, that's it, apparently.
I mean...
Oh, no, it's not that.
Okay.
Sorry, I just wouldn't let me scroll down. Completing these civil rights challenges will also net players loot, specifically a DC-63 spray they can use to tag things in-game, in between shooting one another. It's a whole lot. It If it sounds like I'm sighing a bunch, it's because the tribute, however noble on paper, seems completely out of place in a multiplayer moneymaker, most famous for licensed crossovers that let you do everything from kill Superman to swing like Star Wars lightsabers. On the one hand, sorry, it like bugged out for a second there. On the one hand, Fortnite's sheer reach in terms of its massive audience and popularity could make the mode a very educational, effective educational tool. On the other hand, some people are already reporting that players appear to be circulating out of the mode before even finishing it.
Right, yeah. I mean, that doesn't surprise me in some ways.
I think Rick Sanchez and the Xenomorph from Alien learned something today, and have been given a lot to reflect on. Tweeted video game critic Chris Franklin alongside a screenshot of two characters watching a King's speech at the Lincoln Memorial. I mean, this is his tweet. But this is one of the many, many problems with the platform as a metaverse idea. You can't sell licensed skins for your social battle royale party 1 minute, then expect it to be a serious place to learn about history the next. Fortnite by its nature can't be everything. I mean, this is a loading screen I thought... This is the loading screen I got when I quit out of March Through Time's instance. Aim for the head is a hell of a thing to tag on a loading screen for a tribute to MLK.
Oh my
and granted, it's random and unrelated to the event, but that's my whole point.
Oh, it's just so bad.
It's so bad.
This, as Peter said, this broke just after we recorded the podcast last week. And we could not, like most of the internet, could not believe that they were doing this.
It's like a hard drive article, isn't it?
Yeah, it does. It reads like satire.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound real. Apart from all of the horrible things that have obviously come out of Fortnite since this went in. You know, there's a Catwoman skin that has a whipping emote that they can't turn off.
They haven't turned it off in the thing.
Because it's part of the Catwoman thing, so people can go into the mode and use that emote.
Crack a whip.
Various emotes are locked.
They can dance just right
so
in
there's
front of
Rick,
it.
there's in front of the I Have a Dream speech, and there's Rick Sanchez raising the
Doing
roof
the
with
roof.
Superman
Yeah.
while it plays in the background. Again, it is such a huge platform with such a massive reach to lots of young people that it could be weaponized for good things.
Yeah.
But this is just so not the place to do this because there's so many things that could and have gone horribly wrong with the messaging.
You saw a tweet, didn't you, that someone had said, I can't wait for, or maybe this was you saying this, I can't wait for kids to walk into history class on the first day of year 8 and say, oh, Martin Luther King, he's that guy off of Fortnite.
He's the Fortnite guy.
And the teachers will just be like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, the major concern here was that Dr. King was going to be a skin that you could unlock for Fortnite, which it isn't, which is a good move.
Move.
But even though this has, I would imagine, all the best intentions in the world, there was no way this was ever going to come off well, and it hasn't.
Yeah.
It just
shouldn't have been
hasn't.
made interactive. They could have just done, you know, when they did the Apple lawsuit thing of them marching into the cinema or whatever it was, like a 1984 thing.
Yeah.
They could have just made a really interesting CG cutscene where maybe characters are watching the speech.
The banana.
Or
The banana watching Dr. King.
something, you know, just maybe the slightly more serious looking ones just sitting and watching the speech and standing together in solidarity and, you know, just some kind of
it's
gesture.
just such an unholy marriage.
It
I
is.
can't conceive of any way this would have gone well.
But making it interactive is worse, I think, than just putting out some kind of message.
It's just kind of blind to the whole platform as a whole. Like, Fortnite is not a place where you go like to do something that is wholesome and good. Fortnite is a place that you go that it's a trash place to go. But I mean, if you love it, you love it. But you don't put like a really poignant historical message in a game that is the biggest pile of trash all smashed together in the world.
You should not be able to emote in that.
There shouldn't be mini games in it.
Should not be raising the
No,
roof.
you should be able to raise the roof. You should not be able to have every single skin. Like, I mean, you're fine if you have it on, but just take it off.
I just don't see.
Or like, just rather than it being a cutscene, you're just like, you sit on something and it just takes you through, and then you can just like
Or it's like a single
experience
player
it.
instance and you're just in there on your own and you
Yeah.
can just go and watch the speech.
Just a magnet for trolls.
Yeah,
It's just,
it
I
is.
applaud the effort and the thought, but that it never should have
Kind
happened.
of forgot to
Yeah.
think about the other
Never
side.
should have happened.
Yeah.
That's-
Man, so
Well, here's some more weird news for you. This comes courtesy of Baz at Bazball on Twitter. And this is Kotaku. We know that one.
We do.
we do know
And
that
it's
one.
from Zach Svison. We also know that one. He's the deputy editor or the deputy editor of Weird News. do you
Weird
think?
news. Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
mod designed to make Skyrim unplayable banned for some reason.
Right. Okay.
Couldn't imagine why.
The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim is a popular game that millions of people are still playing a decade after it was first released. And thanks to mods and user-created content, some have dedicated years of their lives to playing this game. Bethesda's insistence on re-releasing this iconic RPG likely isn't helping anyone escape Skyrim's vice grip either. So one modder created a way out for those unable to stop playing. Turn off low power mode. The mod, No Skyrim, makes the Bethesda RPG unplayable once installed. Made by that little commie, that's literally all the admittedly silly mod does. It doesn't add extra characters, new weapons, or copyright infringing content like lightsabers or Thomas the Tank Engine. You install it, and after that, you can no longer play Skyrim. It just crashes instead. Here's how the mod's creator describes the mod. Did you ever feel like the game which you spent your hard-earned money on should be removed and be unplayable? Well, so did I. Now, with no Skyrim, instead of being able to start a new game like most Skyrim players, you just can't. The mod was originally uploaded to popular modding site Nexus Mods, but it has since been removed for unclear but probably easy to guess reasons. I'd bet a mod that simply breaks Skyrim and makes it impossible to play isn't something the folks running the site want on their mod depository. Kotaku has reached out to Nexus Mods about the removal and if no Skyrim will ever return. Currently, if you want to download this silly mod, you can find it over at loverslab.com, which is a more adult modding site. It seems the folks at Lovers Lab don't care if a Skyrim mod breaks the game and renders it unplayable. As spotted by PC Gamer, the mod currently has a change.org petition that folks can sign to support it being re-added to Nexus Mods.
Oh, gosh.
As of this writing, it has nearly 350 signatures. I'll check in a second where we are now. Meanwhile, a subreddit dedicated to the mod and its return to the Nexus site has also popped up. It has just over 260 members. The top post is a smiling image of Todd Howard, Bethesda's director and executive producer. Other posts include people lamenting the mod's removal, as it was the only thing keeping them from playing the decade-old open-world RPG.
What the hell?
For now, it seems no Skyrim will not return to Nexus Mods. It's a sad day for folks unable, he's used folks a lot in this article, unable to uninstall a video game or who have no self-control. And there we are.
How little self-control do you have to rather than deleting the game, to go on, download and install a mod that breaks the game for you?
That's the thing. It's easier to just go on Steam, if you got it on Steam, right-click the game and say uninstall, than to go into your browser, go to Nexus Mods, find the mod, download it. You then, it's been a while since I've used Nexus, but I think you have to then open Nexus Mod Manager, add it to your Skyrim, then launch Skyrim, and then it doesn't work. That's way more effort. But it's all, I know it's all a joke.
It's for the jokes.
Yeah.
It's for the
Of course it
banter.
is.
583 signatures now. We need 1,000 to get no Skyrim put back on the Nexus. One commenter says this mod literally changed my life. Before installing it, bless you. I was a virgin 24-year-old sitting in my mum's basement sorting out merge conflicts, but now I have become a 33-year-old Chad with a beautiful wife, 30 F, and 3 beautiful children.
13, huh?
30.
Okay.
Sucks to see it taken down from the Nexus. I'm signing because I personally believe this is the only thing that can remind Todd Howard of his mortality, says Portal Tay 5 days ago.
When's there going to be a no Todd Howard mod? That's what I want to know.
What
It
about
just
Todd-
doesn't work.
A Todd-only mode.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I want. There we
Everyone
are.
is Todd Howard.
That's my weird news.
Brilliant.
Time to move on to question 3.
It's from Duncan Wilson, who says, I really enjoyed the recent crossover with Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs Legion. In a magical world where legal issues are not a problem, what games would you like to see a crossover event with, regardless of differing publishers/designers?
That's a good question.
I slightly misread this and didn't see the word event, and I just came up with a crossover game. Game.
Maybe I did the same.
I also think I did the same.
Okay.
Thing.
I would like
Duncan.
to see, and this is purely a self-serving thing, but
Halo must die.
yes,
Halo
exactly.
and Spyro.
I would never leave my computer. I would have to install the No Halo Must Die
The
mod.
perfect Peter Austin game has been created.
I always quite liked how in Kingdom Hearts there are all of these Disney characters, and if you're a Final Fantasy fan, Final Fantasy characters that you know and love, and they all pop up and they all have interlinking worlds and relationships and things, and you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense that like they would run a shop selling teacups because they're the Mad Hatter. That's not a real example, but something like that.
Sounded so real to me.
Yeah. And it's all kind of organic and stuff. And so in a similar way, as I say, it's a purely self-serving idea. I would like to see just all of the colorful mascots from like the 90s to the noughties being in a huge shared universe game. And maybe all of the villains have got together and they've got like a giant master plan. Because there's a scene at the start of Kingdom Hearts where you see all of the Disney villains sitting around this table talking to each other. And that's hardly shown for the rest of the game. But I thought it was a really cool scene, just seeing like Captain Hook and Maleficent and I can't remember who's in that game.
I think
but
Peter Pan's a villain as well.
Yeah,
because
Peter Pan.
He nicks, he nicks those kids, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He like pours dust on their faces
He
and then
pours it and then he absconds with the children.
Yeah.
yeah. But it's kind of cool just seeing like all these people from different films all sitting around this table being evil together, and you think, oh, what they're going to come up with as a collective, And that's what I want to see out of a kind of a 3D platformer game. I want Crash and Spyro and Ratchet and Clank and Jack and Daxter and Knack. No, I don't want
Gex.
Sonic, Gex, Croc, the Ape
Bubsy.
Escape characters. Bubsy's welcome. He can come in. And they're all like friends together, or maybe you just play as like a specially made character for the game and they just populate the world, or their allies or something.
Okay.
And then all the villains are getting together. You've got Nasty Nork, you've got Neo Cortex, you've got, that funny guy off Ratchet and Clank, that slimy man.
Slimy man.
Well, that alien dude.
Dr. Nefarious?
Dr. Nefarious.
Yeah, Dr. Nefarious. He's not actually
How long were
slimy.
you playing Ratchet and Clank for again, Peter?
I forgot his name. Dr. Nefarious.
Slimy. He's not even
slimy
slimy.
He's
man.
not slimy. He's just sort of kind of gross looking.
He's a bad villain.
He's a
Yeah.
bad
He's
villain.
not good at being a villain.
Yeah.
But British Dr. Nefarious is.
What?
From the new one.
Oh, right, yeah. No,
Right.
he's fantastic.
Certainly British.
He's very good.
But put them all together and get them to do a big evil plan where they're going to take over the multiverse. I want to see that. I want to play that. Let me play it.
What would you call it? Peter Austin presents Toontown.
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 Platformia. That's the name of the place.
Wow.
That's
I
good.
like it.
I do like that.
Ashton?
I also didn't read the question properly.
I don't know if it's just you guys,
Thanks,
but
Duncan.
I always skim read like the first half of the question. It's like, I don't know.
I get the general gist
Yeah.
of the
I
question.
get the gist, Duncan, and then we read it live, and it's no.
That's how I did my A-levels. Look for the
That's
keywords.
why I failed my A-levels, to be fair.
Man.
Well, I suppose I kind of have. So I literally couldn't think of a single. I was really struggling to answer this question. But Ben was like, "What games have like nice fashion?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, sure. I would like a Project Makeover crossover.
Yeah.
With the fashions from Final Fantasy games because they always look really pretty, and especially the remake
Project
recently.
Game Over.
Project
What could
Game
be?
Over.
There's a pun. There's a pun in there somewhere.
What isn't a Final Fantasy pun or just a video game?
Final
pun?
Fantasy X Project Makeover pun.
I don't know enough about Final Fantasy. There'll be like a character whose name is like, I don't know. Like, wow.
Project Mako.
Mako, yeah.
Makeover.
Makeover.
Project Mako.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Is it Mako?
Project-
I don't know how it's pronounced.
I think it's
Project
Mako.
Chocobova.
Oh, that's pretty good. I mean, it's not, but I love it.
It's
Yeah,
Project
it's
Chocobova.
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 Yes, Project Chocobova would be great. Also, I'd like the Plague Tale rats in Smash.
All of them.
as a playable character.
Just the rat.
Just a horde of rats.
Sea of rats.
Yeah.
Do you have to play as the annoying boy?
Yeah.
Oh.
But you never actually see him because he's always just surrounded by just
this massive.
Does it turn
wiggling
itself into like fists? And
Yeah.
like it can smack and stuff.
Peter,
like the
you
wasps
joke.
Tidal rave.
You are joking. But if you get
that
round to
basically
playing that game, you will see how close
Pretty
you are
much,
to the
yeah.
truth.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Plague Tale Rats in Smash, please.
Amazing. I actually came up with a few examples. A last minute one was I would like a Grand Theft Auto 5. I'm not talking about online. Grand Theft Auto, actual Grand Theft Auto crossover with Yakuza. Because Yakuza is great, but it's all set in one district, Kamurocho of Tokyo. I believe it's Tokyo. And if you've played one of them, you know where everything is in the map and you start to recognize it. And then you come back in the next game, it's like, been here before. There's that building, there's that. And that's very much a thing that I'm having in Judgment. And what I'm enjoying so much is that you can go into first person when you're walking around. So you can like just sort of live in this city and like look up and see the bright lights and all the neon. It's very cool and I like it a lot. But what if the level of detail they've been able to put into Kamurocho, because it's a small area and a smaller map, what if they put that into a city the size of GTA? Like the whole of Tokyo, for example. I'm not saying that every part of Tokyo is recreated, much like not every part of LA is recreated in GTA 5, for example.
Or New York in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just like the main points, but like a much bigger map. What would that look like and how would that play? What if they added vehicles to Yakuza so you could get around instead of using taxis just to sort of teleport to the other side of the map if you can't be asked to walk or run? So that's something I'd like to see. I'd also like a GTA Online X Pokemon crossover. So it's sort of... Sorry?
Just DokeV.
It's just DokeV.
Yeah, it is.
So that's happening. So I feel really silly for adding that one. But sort of Detective Pikachu style, where you don't necessarily have Pokemon, or maybe you have one, but it's not about being the very best.
Or battling.
Yeah, you just live in this city. You just inhabit this city that's like
Pokemon
a
also
Pokemon
live there.
city. Yeah,
That's
like
cool.
a metropolis where Pokemon are crossing guards or lollipop ladies and stuff like that. Like it would be amazing. I'd love that. And then obviously someone crashes a jet into the side of your car, and that's all
and it's
fun.
just like a Meowth just pulls out of the
Meowth holds you up at
Sorry.
gunpoint. That's what we want. The last one I've got is a crossover between Fallout and Dark Souls, where it is linear in the same way that Dark Souls is linear, in that you make your way to a boss, then you make your way to the next boss, but you can still go back to the previous areas and do stuff in them. But when you reach bonfires or the safe spaces in Dark Souls, the equivalent in this Fallout crossover would be that those are sort of settlements and camps.
Right.
And genuinely, every time you make your way out of a camp or a settlement, it is a very dangerous situation where you could die and have to start all over again or lose stuff and go back to the start. Because as much as I love Fallout, I just want to live in a post-apocalyptic city, just like Ashton. As much as I love that, I never feel unsafe in a Fallout game.
Yeah.
I never feel like I'm ever at risk. And when you do die in those games, there's never really any consequences, really,
You just
depending on
reload.
how fast you know, how recently you saved.
Yeah.
So to put that ever-present sense of mortal danger in from Souls and have it feel like there's a real chance that something horrible could go wrong every time you leave the safety of these settlements, and you know the boss fights are against super mutants or whatever, like that would be really cool.
Well, I was going to say it'd be kind of cool to see like really cool unique boss designs in a Fallout game, because you know generally you're either just up against people and who all essentially look the same in that engine, or you know you might be up against some kind of creature, but you've already encountered super mutants or death claws or Yaogwai, whatever they were called. You know, so sometimes there's the odd special one or a bigger one, but they're not like super unique and interesting. But you know, if someone sat down and just designed a whole series of like a dozen really cool different mutant-y things, that would be really cool.
It would. And Souls, not Souls games, Souls-like games have had guns in before. Like the one that I played earlier this year that was on Plus that I can't even remember the name of. It left such an impact.
Really good game then.
Yeah, it was fine. So various, inspired ones have used guns, and it's kind of worked. So I think that would be a cool crossover that I would like to see. But
don't you have another one, Ben?
Yeah. What? Why have you set me up for
Why are you
failure
screen
like this?
peeking, Ashton?
I'm not.
So what if they did a crossover between Portal and Call of Duty, and they called it Splitgate? It's now time for the big discussion. This was something that I said to Ashton earlier in jest. Not that I was going to include it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I liked it, and I said, I won't steal it from you, but I think you should say it on the podcast.
And I said, will you laugh? And you said, yeah.
I did laugh. Just a little laugh.
I heard Peter exhale air more than you did. I just feel very betrayed right now. I just want you to know that. It's time for the big discussion. It's big discussion time. Time for the big discussion. This big discussion comes courtesy of Samuel Benson. And Samuel Benson says, good day, Ben, Ashton, Peter, BAP.
Hello.
With the discourse around the console wars being ever prevalent and somewhat irritating, do you think there is a way to solve it? Is there something the community or companies could do to lessen the toxicity of this discourse? Kind of a weird question, but it's been on my mind since getting on Twitter. Sorry to hear you're on Twitter now, Samuel. That's a curse,
it's a hard
isn't
thing
it?
to get
It's
out
really,
of as well.
really rough. Thank you, Samuel. There's
Thanks,
your
Samuel.
big discussion for this week. Peter, what do you think?
Well, I think that you do occasionally see little sort of token gestures from companies. It's quite often, it's like in a tweet or something where they'll just say a nice thing to each other.
Congratulations on the launch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's already a minor attempt being made to show like, we can get on. Why don't you guys all just get on with each other,
Yeah.
sort of thing. But for the most part, I don't think there's anything that really can be done other than because it would take just outright addressing it, and even that I don't think would work. But like they would certainly anything less than that would absolutely not work. So at a minimum, you would have to get official statements being made from Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo saying, "Hey guys." We find it really, disappointing or sad to see that lots of people fall out about which content and like,
Can you stop being a dick to each other on the internet, please?
Yeah, pretty
and
please.
so number one, they're not going to do that because you don't want to even draw attention to it necessarily. Number two, if they did do that, no one would listen to them, and I just kind of feel like there's very little that can actually be done about it. Which might be a really depressing and pessimistic answer, but I just think it mostly I think comes down to just the kind of person you are, like your own personality. It's not to do with messaging, really. It's not to do with anything like that. It's just if you've got either a bit of a complex about it and you feel like, oh, well, I think I've got the best console and I don't like the idea that someone thinks I've not, or if you're just a dick who like wants to go out of their way to say you've made a bad decision and you suck, then you're probably not going to be persuaded by anything. You just need to have been brought up properly. That's what I'm saying. I'm blaming the parents.
Yeah, I suppose so.
So yeah, might be a bit of a scathing response, but I think there's little that can be done. Not that I don't wish there was. But it kind of comes down to the individuals, and they simply will not be told.
Yeah, it's kind of a cultural thing, isn't it, really? When you think that, like, it isn't necessarily one person started it and then it all just, like, echoed out of itself. It's like, this is a culture that's been for a long time. So it's difficult to, like, break it, whether, PC Master Race or you're an Xbox geese or a PlayStation. The Xbox and PlayStation are probably the two that are most obvious. And also, like, PC Master Race, that whole meme is kind of obviously it started from somewhere.
Zero punctuation.
Zero punctuation, yeah. But I think that, like Peter was saying, there's not a lot that like the average person can do about it. Because if someone was like, oh, well, I actually think that PlayStation's really bad and you should just get an Xbox. And then you reply saying, oh, well, that's fine, but I don't want an Xbox. I've got a PlayStation. They'd be like, wow, wanker. It's just
That's a great impression. That is what they sound like.
Yeah, it is what they sound like. And I just pretty much think that there's nothing that just a regular person could do to fix it. It is, like you say, got to come from like the companies themselves. But even then, I don't think that would make any difference. Or we just get called like weak or something, and then they'd carry on with their argument. I just think the best way to do it is just to mute it, just ignore it, because it's going to happen regardless of what we do. So just ignore it.
I'm feeling like, as much as I agree with all of that, I do now kind of think that that's not the attitude I take with certain other things. Like, you know, if people are like disrespectful of others for, you know, other reasons, like if there's like discrimination and stuff, you don't go, well, you're not going to change people, so best just leave it. But I guess it is it's a kind of a case by case thing. Like, it's not hugely egregious that people are like, you suck because you like Xbox. It's just, you know, we would obviously rather it wasn't there, but you know, there's so little that can be done about it that it's preferably just don't worry about it. Yeah. Which I wouldn't say about anything sexism or racism. You know, that's a more serious matter.
Yeah. It is just video games at the end of the day. And you shouldn't, if it is distressing or annoying, you shouldn't have any time for it. And so just, as you said, mute it. Don't go on Twitter. Don't look at replies to public tweets. Don't look at the comments under videos, because you'll never find anything good there, ever. You'll just find stuff that really irritates you. It has really kicked up again recently, and it is mainly PlayStation and Xbox fans at each other's throats again. Thing is, though, it seemed relatively quiet for most of the PS4 Xbox One period, and I don't know if it's just because Xbox didn't have a great console generation and PlayStation did, and so there wasn't much to shout about, and now Xbox is making a lot of really big moves, and PlayStation is still dominating, but they're not really making any substantial moves because they don't need to, and so PlayStation fans are on the defensive, and Xbox fans feel like they have something to shout about. And when I say Xbox fans and PlayStation fans, I mean fanboys, I mean trolls.
Fanboys,
I'm not talking about
all girls.
Us. All girls. Trollettes, if you will.
The Bethesda buyout surely really shook things up.
Yeah, that was a big game changer. And so I don't know if that's why there's a lot more discourse now. Yeah. Discourse is a very generous term for it because it is just angry shouting based on very little but personal opinion.
It's kind of like you've put a bunch of people on either side of a field and they're just screaming at each other but not actually doing anything about it.
And there's an ice cream van on the side. Yeah. And you say...
And the rest of us are just there eating like a...
Those people bought all the 99 flakes.
Yeah.
And they both think the other people bought the 99 flakes. And
but really, it's us. We've eaten all the 99 flakes and we're just watching it all take place.
The only way you can have your metaphorical 99 flake is if you just don't care.
Is the ice cream man Doug Bowser? He's just there watching.
It's really difficult to say
people shouting
in this metaphor. I don't know who's who.
The ice cream man's actually God. He's the ice cream man.
God is the ice cream man of all of our hearts.
Yeah.
But
it kind of happens with like games as well. Like the Fall Guys Among Us thing. They literally do not compare themselves at all. And I saw they tweeted the other day that they tweeted being like, they've changed the mountain, which was like the final run to get the crown. And they literally tweeted saying, sees the mountain has changed, replies, dead game, and the tweet replies. Because they just know, like, it's
people
just a reply.
People do just reply dead game. And it's so pathetic, all of it.
I think that even though, like, it's obviously bad to have this kind of quite toxic narrative on a lot of social media platforms, the only good thing about comparing PlayStation and Xbox is that hopefully it will make them both work harder to be better, and therefore we, the consumer, get a better console or get a better system to play games on. That's only the
we should encourage this kind of
if anything, it's a good thing.
However, much like our brief discussion into Activision and whether or not really us complaining on Twitter makes any difference whatsoever, if the general public is still just going to buy stuff because they don't know or don't care about what's going on at Activision, there's a good chance that Sony and Microsoft don't really care about the infighting. In fact, of course they don't care. They don't care at all. It must be nice, perhaps, to have strange people so dedicated to fight to the death for them on their behalf. But equally, they won't make any attempts to improve anything or give us a better console unless they start to lose money.
Yeah.
Because the other side is doing something right.
Yeah.
So the trolls really don't do anything but piss people off. And in terms of promoting, what companies can do to change things, as you said, Peter, not a great deal.
No.
Beyond, it's occasionally saying, hey, they exist and they released a game. Good for you guys.
Yeah.
Obviously, cross-play is a big thing that
Mm.
Sony is just really kicking their heels on with a lot of things. They don't really want to do it. But ultimately, the rise of fanboyism, there's not much you can do to combat that. Don't engage. 99% of these people who are tweeting nonsense, their profile has a line in it that says, if you're reading this, you're probably annoyed or something. It's like, really? That's your whole deal?
That's your online existence, is
That's
it?
incredibly sad.
Yeah.
So just enjoy what you enjoy. Surround yourselves with content creators and opinion providers who are not toxic and prone to fits of fanboyism or whatever. Like, you can have a preference. I prefer PlayStation. I've always played PlayStation. Like I've said before, I sort of support PlayStation in the same way someone would support a football team, in that I can criticize them as much as anybody will because I like the brand. But equally, it wouldn't stop me from going elsewhere to play other games if they were worth playing. So just avoid the negativity where you can, really. Just take precaution, because it's not going anywhere. It's the internet, unfortunately. I don't think.
That's it, really. Yeah.
Anything else to add?
No.
No, I don't think so.
No.
Sounds like they're having fun out there.
Yeah.
Someone had the hiccups, I thought, but I think they were just laughing.
Just laughing. I suppose we should go out and find out what's going on.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening, everybody. We hope you've enjoyed this podcast. Why not reach out to us and let us know what you thought of the various things that we discussed today. And you can find us in various places.
We're on youtube.com and twitch.tv/Team TripleJump. It's where we put all of our videos and live streams out. When we're streaming on Twitch, of course. Yes and no. When we're streaming on both, we're modded by Lord Brotovich, Trailing Badger, and Mr. Black. But when we're streaming on Twitch, you can get a Twitch sub as part of your Amazon Prime rewards that you may already have. I'm just going to keep if you've got Amazon Prime, twitter.com and facebook.com/Team TripleJump. Mostly Twitter is for our video and live stream announcements, etc. And facebook.com is for video content. We do some throwbacks and things. We do bits of discussion, occasional live streams as well over there. That's exciting. Patreon.com/Team TripleJump. Stuff's still happening over there. If you're not watching on YouTube,
I'll tell you in a second.
You're just listening on audio.
She's taken my running.
I would
order.
tell. Mine's wrong. Mine hasn't got the website links on it. This one wasn't updated. I think I used the wrong one, so I needed the website link.
Okay,
right.
But I didn't want to say that while Peter was talking, so I just thought.
Thanks
I'll
for the
just take
professionalism. We have actually broken. We did it wrong there. That was on us. Patreon.com/Team TripleJump is where you can get to our Patreon. As we said at the top of the show, there will be new tiers and rewards on there in due course. Before the beginning of October. Well, we'll tell you about them before then, but they'll go active in next month, October.
We have a website. And it's almost fixed.
Yay!
Which is good.
It exists.
It does work now.
Skeleton for.
Yeah. We get tweets a lot being like, what's wrong with your website?
By the way, guys, your website's done.
Yeah, we know. It's fixing now. It's triplejut.mp or triplejut.mup, if you like. To get to our Discord, you can go to triplejut.mup/Discord, where we are modded by Jack, Joe, and Hollow Eyes. To get to our podcast and all of its forms, you can go triplejut.mup/podcast. For all of our live stream VODs, so if you miss any of our many live streams that we do per week, you can go to triplejut.mup/VODs. And to get to our shop, where we've got new merch coming very, very soon.
Next week?
Yeah, I think
Question mark?
Question mark? Next week, maybe?
Probably.
You can go to triplejumpshop.com and follow at TripleJumpShop on Twitter to get the latest info about the merch.
That is actually worth doing because it will be being announced next week, this coming week.
Yeah.
It's finally happening.
We did
so
it.
So go follow them if you want to get
And by
the
we,
logo.
I mean they did it. It was happening before I arrived.
It's been an arduous process, but I think we pretty much have the next merch drop after this one planned out by this point because because we've been waiting on various things.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, you should follow at that Peter Austin and at Scrambled Ashton on both Instagram and Twitter, and myself just on Twitter at confused_dude. We do lists every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Streams every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Thursday being the joint streams on YouTube. Blaze it. The other weekday streams being on Twitch. Worst Games Ever is fortnightly, Friday for patrons of a certain tier, Sunday for everyone else. We do the podcast every Saturday. We do shows once every other week or thereabout. Why not leave a review on iTunes or your platform of choice? It helps something to do with algorithms. TripleJump.gg to get your currency. Go get it. Go get your subscriptions. It is a Worst Games Ever week. It's a good one. James is working on it right now. The website is kind of up and ready to go. Yeah. So go and check that out. We shot 2 episodes of Main Menu. We hit a very nice 169,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Nice.
Thank you very much to all of you who've subscribed. And also, something I realized, because it was Barbara Piss's 3rd birthday this week. Big birthday, Babs.
Happy birthday, Babs.
Happy birthday, Babs.
It occurred to me that upon signing up for Twitter, which she has now done, that I don't think we've ever promoted our bot friends on TripleJump, despite them being part of the TripleJump family.
Did we not in the early days?
I don't know that we did, you know.
I think you did.
Did we?
I think I remember you doing so.
But we should give them a
We
little...
haven't done... I've added them to the
while.
description of videos going forwards now, so they are in there. But if you want to follow Billy Ray Walrus on Twitter, it's at Billy Ray Botrus, Botrus, and he does daily tweets about, what he's thinking about and what better something or other he could have been. At This Is Rules Boss. If you have any rules questions, you can tweet Rules Boss, and Rules Boss will reply.
He'll reply to you.
Rules Boss has all the answers, so go tweet Rules Boss.
1 to 6 working days.
Yes, it sometimes takes a while, but he will get back to you.
It's
Promise.
a delay. Where he is.
And the newest member of the family at PIS, PIS_ Barbara, who is also tweeting
She's
her
finally
daily
old
thoughts.
enough to get a Twitter account.
Yeah, well, she's not. That's the thing. I've fallen foul of this before, where I set the birth date of, I think, the Vidiot's Twitter to the date that we were founded.
Yeah.
It's like, you're too young to have a Twitter.
6 months old.
Suspended. It's like, oh, okay, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
But there we are. And
What
that's
did you
everything
set
for this
Barbara's
week.
birthday as? Do you remember?
Probably the correct date, but just a year where she's old enough to have an account. I'm not sure which one, but there we are. Peter, can you hit us with that Alleluia one more time, please?
Oh, look out. The clock strikes 12. Here come the garlic BMX boys. It's midnight suns.
Good.
Haunting image.
Okay.
Just emerging from the gloom.
Oh, so
Flipping.
many reflective eyes. Here they come. They're hungry for chips. You better hope you don't have garlic.
You can smell it.
Right, we're going to go now. Enjoy the rest of your weekends. Thank you for watching /this listening. I'll see you next time. Bye.